Coming to you live on location, this is the Between the Benches podcast, where we will discuss anything and everything hockey related. Let's drop the puck and get the action underway. All right, everybody, welcome into another episode of the Between the Benches podcast. As always, it's your boy Dak. I'm running this show tonight. We have a beauty for you. Let me tell you, we've got some live reaction to get to. If you haven't already, make sure to check us out on social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Don't forget about TikTok. Obviously, check out Old City Sports Network. That's who we're sponsored and brought to you by. You can check out oldcitysports.com. Use the promo code Old City for 15% off site-wide. You can check out our merch store as well. Use the promo code Benches 15% for 15% off. And it's Benches 15. Forgive me on that. But yeah, I'm joined by my esteemed co-host this evening, Graham Fa, Big Canada Daddy. Graham, how you feeling?
Oh, it's a good day. Let me tell you. The second round of the playoffs is not disappointing.
No, the whole playoffs in general, honestly, are not disappointing.
No, this is a treat. It continues, and let's talk about it, shall we?
Absolutely. Let's check in with our resident Big Canada Daddy. How we feeling? How we doing?
I'd rather not talk about it.
Okay.
But this is kind of the whole point of a podcast. You got to talk about things.
Nice. Oh yeah.
So yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I don't know how good this is going to be, but we'll see.
Well, it's nice of you to show up because you know what? Not every Leafs fan or player does show up around this time of year.
That is
so
fair.
We're happy to have you with us.
As always. Yeah, this show would not be the same without you. So, and you're going tarps off tonight, which I really appreciate. So
yeah, a little hot under the collar, so we just took the collar off.
Right.
Pretty much
Nice.
how I feel.
Nice. All right. Well, we appreciate everybody joining us. We've got playoffs to talk. We've got some. I've got a hot take for you guys here at the end of the show. By the way, I teased it earlier in our group chat. I did some feelers on Reddit. I got my ass handed to me, but I'm going to throw it out there. I'm going to see what you guys think. I want to get some live reaction, but first we have to go around the rink. So let's do it. By the way, Around the Rink is sponsored by IronSteelThreads.com. Make sure to check out IronSteelThreads.com. They got great hoodies, memorabilia, shirts, shorts, all kinds of designs and apparel. They are made here in the States, and you can use the promo code OldCity10 for 10% off, and part of your proceeds will go back to youth hockey organizations, which, again, I don't know what you could ask for. Safety, by the way. Yeah, check them out. Check out IronSteelThreads.com. The first thing I wanted to talk about, we have the World Hockey Championships going on. So they're taking place, I believe, in in Sweden and Denmark. Group A right now, Sweden had a big victory today. They are 4-0. They're currently sitting at the top of Group A. They are at a goals for is at 17, goals allowed. You can see it on the bottom of your screen there. The first number is 4. The second number is allowed. But we were talking a little bit before pod, Graham. You have a very strong inkling that Canada is just overpowering everybody. Who's going to win this tournament going away?
I think Canada is always the favorite when it comes to international hockey.
Okay.
I mean, we got Crosby and McKinnon. You guys have
that's
the rest
fair.
of the world. You know what?
Right.
We still win.
Can you name the best player on France, by the way? I was going to look that up through the rosters, and I was just like...
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I'm assuming Pierre?
Jean-Gabriel Pageau, maybe?
I think he's Canadian.
Is he? Okay.
I don't think he's
French-Canadian.
Right. I was going to say, that's where I feel like that line starts to trickle a little bit. But
oh, wait a second. Texier?
Okay.
That might actually be a guess. I think he is from Paris or something like that.
It's a good thought. But yeah, just running away. Flower, shout out to him. He did get his first win, but it was like the first win by a 40-year-old goaltender, I think. I think it was his first. Yeah, first one is a 40-year-old, so forgive me on that. But he beat Latvia in the second game. Pretty cool. I think he was like the oldest goaltender to record a win in international hockey history, if I'm not mistaken. So that was pretty cool. And then Group 2, obviously you have Germany, Czechoslovakia, you've got the United States, Switzerland, Hungary, Denmark, Kazakhstan, and then rounded out by Norway. So USA had a 6-5. They blew a 5-1 lead today. They look like the Leafs, but Tage Thompson had a hat trick. They win 6-5 in overtime. Pretty exciting game. So are we destined for a US Canada rematch? That's my real question here.
I think US has probably one of the easiest paths. to at least the middle rounds.
Do you think they split up Canada and US in different groups on purpose, by the way? Or is it all done randomly?
It's a good question.
I don't know how it's done.
Yeah, I actually don't know the format and how it's created.
I really can't get over how sad Brock is right now. I can't.
I told you, I'm past angry. I'm past angry. I am so.
But
far
just
past
know
angry.
that his anger just fuels Dalton and I.
It's
Yeah,
way past angry.
We are not hating on the Leafs. We are just enjoying this somber tone coming
just
from the right side of your screen.
in all fairness, I tried to warn you, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, fair enough. Well, that was your World Hockey Championship update. By the way, the quarterfinals will start on May 22nd. And the pool play games, I think, take place all the way up until the 20th. So all the way through next week. So be sure to check that out. I think a lot of that's on the NHL Network, if I'm not mistaken, where you can watch it. Unless you're in Canada, then probably TSN covers all the games just because they're
Sportsnet.
Sportsnet. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, they're like the ultimate hockey channel. So check it out. It's going to be some great hockey. So the next thing I want to talk about, too, we have some seats taken. Shout out to Forrest Gump on this one. So the first one I wanted to talk about, the first seat, was like right after our pod last week. The Ducks had hired Joel Quenneville as their head coach coming into this coming season, which I guess the league isn't over yet. So it'd be for the 2025 season. Brock, do you think this is a slam dunk signing? I mean, tell me your first thoughts when you heard this.
I don't know if I'd use the term slam dunk, but I do think that it's a smart signing for both parties. Anaheim is a much quieter media market, so there's going to be a lot less noise surrounding the Quenneville background. You know, when the Jackets hired Babcock, they said the same things. Oh, no, he's changed. He's put in the work. He's got the receipts. He didn't even make it to training camp. So they're saying all the same things. I'll believe it when I see it when it comes to Quenneville, if he's a changed man. And I'm rooting for him. I hope he has, put in some work, put in the effort. And they've cited some things and whatever. Like I said, they said the same thing with Babcock. So I'll wait and see.
Okay.
If he does get, to training camp and beyond, then yeah, the Ducks are going to be better for it. He's a good coach. It's no secret. He should have been coaching this entire time, but he big oopsed a decade ago.
Yeah.
Like big oops.
Yeah, he was reinstated into the league back in 2024. He's a 4-time Stanley Cup champion, and he's second all-time in wins as a coach. So, I mean, Graham, do you have anything to add to as far as what Brock mentioned?
When it comes to hiring a coach, you're not going to find a better pedigree in this market. So, yes, it comes with baggage, and I don't think it's as safe as, some people want to believe it is. Because, I mean, that's a decade without NHL hockey. The game changes.
Right. Do you think there's a leash?
Whoa. He only lost his job like 5 years ago.
Yeah, because he coached for the Panthers. Yeah, he did coach for the Panthers after.
It wasn't that long ago.
I think it's 2019, I believe. It was like right before COVID, if I'm not mistaken.
Something like that.
Yeah. Do you think there's a really short leash with this?
I don't. I don't think you hire someone and give them a short leash right away.
It depends on what you mean by short leash. If you mean short leash as in terms of like player performance, team results. No, I agree with Graham. He's not going to have a short leash. But when it comes to, conduct, I think that's more up for discussion.
Yeah, probationary probably.
Okay. That's
informally.
Yes. I definitely think this could be a big step in the right direction for Anaheim. They got a good young core of, Quenneville's obviously, like I said, got the experience. That's obviously
you've seen young teams and old coaches kind of clash before.
Yeah, that's fair.
The identity of the players, the younger players in the league now, doesn't necessarily mesh with the teachings of the veteran coaches.
That's fair. And Anaheim does have a pretty rock solid front office as far as like stability and, I guess kind of ownership, knowing what they're doing.
Pretty sure they just fired a GM because he would get drunk and yell at people. And that was like, I don't even know, 3 years ago, not even maybe.
It's just a Friday night.
I forget his name, but like it's just you're touting like a rock solid front office. Like I'm pretty sure their GM.
Well, they got rid of their leak.
Maybe.
Yeah, they got rid of the weak link.
I guess we'll see.
It's all downhill from here.
Right. Exactly. There it is. Well, the other signing that we had today, shout out to Jesse. He sent me a screenshot where apparently he called this back on March 27th, the happening. But Rick Tocchet has agreed to a deal with the Flyers, a 5-year, $25 million term. By the way, I can't find any contact or contract details on Quenneville. Like, you can't find him anywhere on Google, on Twitter, on
He's
X, on
really
anything.
good at burying stories.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
There it is. But Rick Tocchet has been with the Lightning, the Penguins, the Coyotes, and obviously most recently the Canucks. Graham, is this? I mean, obviously we kind of knew this was going to happen, but as far as like it being a good fit for the Flyers, what do you think?
I'm really confused as to what the Flyers are and what they think they are. Because from the position of Rick Tocchet, like, he's a touted coach. He's desired all over the league. And he lands in a market, like a great hockey market, but in terms of talented rosters, I'm sure this was not the strongest. So I am still curious as to how this deal got done and why it got done. But I think it's great for the players on the roster. I think you're going to see a big turnaround in the team in terms of results. I don't know what that's going to mean for in the standings, but I do think the team's going to be better for it just because of like Tocchet's as good as he is. So I think it's good for the Flyers. I just don't really see the upside on Tocchet's side unless he sees something that we don't.
Well, maybe he gets to be the hero if they do play well. But Brock, can he add goaltending to this team? Because that's really been one of their big holes since Carter Hart's been gone.
No, he can't. That's management. That's management's job. That's ultimately.
But I mean, if you can bring back Quenneville, you can bring back Hart.
No, you
well,
can't.
we might, maybe we'll see.
No, you
I'm
can't.
probably not too Philly, but he might. I don't know. We'll
No,
see how
you
that.
can't.
They're in court right now getting.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a below the belt. Yeah, I don't know. I think if you add some competent goaltending to that team, they're probably a lot better than they've looked. Like, their goaltending has just been awful. Like, bottom 5 in almost every statistical category you can possibly think of when it comes to measuring goaltending. So yeah, add a goalie, good coach. What's that old saying? Show me a good goalie, I'll show you a good coach. I think the two are symbiotic, simpatico, if you will.
Nice.
Are you just quoting like?
I don't even know what
VA?
I'm quoting. I'm quoting something. I'm on autopilot right now, man. Like,
yeah, which is so sad. This is not what I came here for. I want the hot Brock.
We'll get it out of them.
That's also why his shirt's off, though.
You're not.
We're halfway to a hot Brock. That's why your shirt's off.
You're not gonna get there.
Yeah.
They're getting off topic here, but yeah, I think that it's fair to point a lot of that out, Graham. But I do still think this roster is better than we showed because they just can't get a save. So let's see what happens when they.
Well, the problem is they can't get a save, but they're never in a position to go get a goalie either. It's not like they're just one goalie away from making a big run.
No, I'm not
So
saying
if you're at
that
the
either.
bottom, why spend the resources at the time? So I think you could see something in a draft.
And maybe that
a higher upside acquirement.
Maybe that was sold to Tocchet. Maybe he's, we're going to do a quick little retool here and bottom out. Maybe try to get McKenna, because if there were ever a year to bottom out, this is it. And go from there. Maybe that was what he was pitched. I don't know.
A big thing that I thought of when I heard that Tocchet was going to Philly is, what does that mean for Quinn Hughes and Pettersson?
Well,
does that mean that
we'll get to that?
A new coach?
Oh, you're jumping the gun. That is a new coach. They've hired somebody.
Yeah.
No, I know.
You're jumping the gun here. But like that's a
we're
different
talking
conversation.
about this later.
That's a great segue, because actually the third seat that was taken today
there
was
you
the
go.
Canucks.
Okay, here we
They're
go.
rumored to be hiring Adam Foote as their next head coach. The terms that I've seen, it's going to be a 3-year deal. Again, no money has been reported. He was a defensive coach for the Avalanche from 2011 to 2017. He was the head coach of the, Kelowna. Okay, that's how you say that. That's interesting. Kelowna Rockets from 2018 to 2020, and then obviously he's been the assistant coach for the Canucks from 2023 to currently, until they obviously promote him. So, pick up your thought there with Quinn Hughes and everything. Is he going to be? He's going to go to New Jersey, right? I mean, he's got to be. That's the only team that would want him, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's the.
Yeah, definitely.
I do like promoting from within. I remember Adam Foote with the old Avalanche jerseys. I just can't get that out of my head.
Yeah.
So I guess to learn from a player or continue learning from a player like that could have incentive for Hughes to try and stay in Vancouver. But these American stars, they don't like to stay in Canadian markets that long. Now, of course, there's exceptions, but I just think that he's destined to leave. I don't think he's worth staying for a rebuild. So either it's a quick retool or what's his incentive to stay?
We need more information. Let's wait and see what they do at the draft and what they do with their free agency money. Let's wait and see what they do before we go and jump to any conclusions because, yeah.
Oh, I'm not saying it's a this offseason move. I just think, the clock started.
Well, yeah, they just missed the playoffs. Yeah, of course the clock is ticking. It's always ticking.
Didn't it start in April when they didn't make the playoffs?
Nah.
So the clock is ticking for sure. But he's still under contract for 2 years, and I guarantee you he's not going anywhere this year. So
no,
we'll see. I want more information. I also think. Sorry, are you?
No, go ahead.
It's a thought on Adam Foote. I do find it interesting that the hire was from within. I don't know what kind of coach Adam Foote is. I was a little blindsided by the hiring, if I'm being honest. And I'm all for new blood. Like we hinted at this in our last pod. Like it's a rotating carousel sometimes when it comes to these head coach and GM jobs. It's nice to see fresh blood get an actual chance. And I'm always rooting for people to succeed. I'm very, I guess positive like that. But am I sold that this is going to be the thing that, gets them over the edge? I have no idea. Or over the hump, not the edge. That roster can't be missing the playoffs. Like when you look at it on paper, it just can't be. Like going into last year,
you need to do a study on the Canucks.
Yeah.
You had Miller, Horvat, Pettersson, Hughes, Demko,
and Besser.
Like you have, dude, that is as good.
That was your roster to start the year.
Yeah, that is it. Well, Horvat wasn't there to start the year.
Oh, fair. Yeah.
Horvat was over a year ago.
Almost trade deadline last year.
Yeah. It's just, it's a classic.
And this is what they've become.
Culture.
It has to be studied.
Culture kills, man. Or it can, grow. Culture can grow. I don't know what the word.
Flourish, maybe. I don't know.
Flourish,
Transform.
Yeah. Transform. That's another good word. But yeah, I just we might never know exactly what toxic shit was going on, but that I guarantee you was the root of all.
It reminds me of the downfall of the Jets with Evander Kane, Bufflin, Wheeler.
Yeah, that's not a probably bad comparison. Yeah,
and thankfully the Jets are over it, and they've been over it for a
Are
while.
they?
Are they? We'll get to that. We'll definitely get to that. But I was just going to say,
hold me back.
I was just going to say, out of the three hirings that obviously have taken place or we've discussed so far, do you think there's a clear cut, okay, this person's going to have success right away if you had to put your money somewhere?
Well, Foote feels like the obvious one given the roster, but again, culture. And then you got Quenneville given the pedigree. So there's those two obvious options. But then you got Tocchet, who, I don't know, he always seems to coach good teams. So I don't know. I think that they're all very, very interesting hires.
I do like the idea of Philly bottoming out and getting Gavin McKenna. I think
if you aren't one of those,
him and Mitchkov together, that'd be sick.
If you aren't one of the 8 teams that can actually win the cup next year, fire everything into the sun, blow it up, and just tank. There is zero incentive to try to win if you are not an absolutely true contender.
Well, there it is.
I have a question for that'll take us off on a different tangent. But who is the last team that actually tanked that has been to a cup final?
What do you mean?
When did they tank?
Yeah,
they succeed.
Literally just last year, McDavid.
And what?
They tanked for McDavid. And then they went to the cup final.
So 2015 to 2024. So 9 years later, you can get to a cup final.
Well, it's not an exact science. Do you really want to go down this rabbit hole?
No, we should do some more research.
We will.
I was going to say,
Brock and I have done.
I was going to say, if you want to go down this rabbit hole, we can go down this rabbit hole. But you need top tier talent to win. You need it. It's non-negotiable.
8 teams to just tank when the turnaround is almost impossible immediately.
Mm-hmm.
That it's 7 of those other teams are going to be in hell.
I think you've got my quote backwards.
No, you said if you're one of the 8 bottom teams
No,
to tank.
You have it backwards. If you are not one of the 8 teams that can win, there are 8 that can win. I'm saying the other 24 should tank.
Well, I don't agree with that at all.
That'd make for some really compelling hockey. That's
those 8 teams are going to be really strong.
I am aware. That's what I'm insinuating. Those are the cup contenders.
Well, to your point too, just on before we transition, the coaching carousel. I think it was like over the last 2 years, we've had 16 different coaches get hired and fired. So literally half the league. So just to put that in perspective, that's like insane. I don't even know if there's another like the NFL maybe, but like it just seems like they are just canning coaches. Like nobody gets an opportunity to really flourish or build any kind of culture or team around them before they get fired into the sun themselves. So we'll definitely see what happens. We still have, I think, 5 openings. Yeah, the Penguins, Blackhawks, the Kraken, the Bruins, and help me on the 5th one.
You got more than I would have remembered.
I'm forgetting one, so forgive me. But yeah, we'll definitely see what happens moving in. And then the other thing that we had the other can't beat them, join them. The other hiring we had today. So the LA Kings have hired Ken Holland to be their next GM. Holland was the general manager for the Red Wings from 1997 to 2019. And then he was also the GM and president of hockey operations for the Edmonton Oilers from 2019 to 2024. So the Kings have gotten bounced by the Oilers for 4 straight years. So we might as well hire the guy that set him up that way, right? I mean, is that really the logic here, or is it just because Ken Holland was just the name and that's what they went with?
I'm sure it's the name. It's not necessarily the cartoon tactics, but it's fun.
I do not understand this hire at all. Like he walked.
To be fair, you've never been a Ken Holland fan
ever, and I never will be. Like I have evidence. He fell into the Red Wings dynasty, then he fell into McDavid and Draisaitl. Get the fuck out!
No, he tanked. They tanked.
No, he was hired long after
9 years later.
You can't stay on topic to save your fucking life.
How did he fall into the Red Wings dynasty? Explain that to me.
I'd have to go double check my facts, but he did not he I don't think he was there when all of that was assembled, like when Lidstrom, Datsuk, Zetterberg, Fedorov, the end of Yzerman, all of that in the late 90s, early 2000s. He wasn't the GM for that. He took over that. Yeah, I could have looked like the best GM on the planet with that roster. And then, like I said, he goes and he falls into McDavid and Draisaitl. They hired him in like 2019, 2020.
Yeah, 2019. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, here's the keys to another Lambo. Have fun. Yeah. Like I can win with that too. Fuck, man. And
they haven't won yet.
Win.
As we said, they haven't won yet. They're looking like they're going to, though. So
speaking of not winning, that brings us to our next segment.
That is a great segue. So we're going to cover the Eastern Conference playoffs. This is sponsored by Decals by Aaron. It's brought to you by Decals by Aaron. If you make sure you check out decalsbyaaron.com. He does a hell of a job, and we definitely endorse him on this podcast. So speaking of endorsing, the Ice Cats are flexing, fellas. They're up 3-2 in the series over Toronto. They had a 6-1 victory tonight. I wanted to recap real quick Game 3 and Game 4. So those 2 games that happened while we were not in between our last pods or shows here. But Marchand was the overtime hero in Game 3. Toronto had 2 separate 2-goal leads, if you will, and they scored twice in the first 6 minutes of that game. And Florida had scored 3 straight goals in the second period to take a 4-3 lead. Morgan Riley ties it up in the third period. And then, like I said, Marchand's the overtime hero in Florida. And then Game 4, that was the Joseph Woll game, played outstanding. Unfortunately, it was not enough that Bob kind of outdid him. They had a nice shutout. Panthers win the game 2-0. Bennett and Verhaeghe both had goals for the Panthers. Through Game 4, the core 4 had 44 points. And it was at 9 games, if you will. And then Chris Tanev, I had notes on him that he was really a difference maker so far. He was doing really well. He's also leading the postseason in block shots and hits taken. So he's just getting the hell beat out of him. And he's still, I think, playing really well, making a big difference. But then, of course, we had the game tonight. I guess the first stat, I'll just throw this to you, Graham, and then I'll leave it alone. But the winners of Game 5 when the series is tied at 2-2 in NHL playoff history go on to win the series 80% of the time it's like 79.4, but we're just going to round up for math purposes. So are they done? Are the Leafs done? Was it fun while it lasted?
No, they're not done. I'm not going to say that. I almost feel like it's traditional Leafs way to just win game 6. And then a coin flip, if you will, but it's really just a 2-sided coin. And it's never for the blue and white.
Okay. I mean, as a Leafs fan, you're pulling for Game 7 this time. We had a Leafs fan on this podcast, like when we were previewing the first round of the playoffs, where he was like, "Man, if they get to Game 7, like I don't have any good feelings whatsoever." But now that person is probably going to feel really good about getting to a Game 7. Wouldn't you say?
I mean, the home teams won every game this series.
No, they haven't.
No, not tonight. They didn't.
No, they haven't.
Oh, they played tonight.
The Panthers won in Toronto tonight. So before tonight had happened, you were correct.
Yes.
So. If of a Toronto Leafs fan was on this podcast right now, Brock, what do you think they'd be saying?
Well, it looked like 2021 all over again is what that looked like tonight. Looked like 2020 itself all over again. It looked like 2024 all over again. It looked like 2019. It looked like 2018. It looked like every other goddamn year you've cheered for this team. That was pathetic.
With the unfamiliar territory.
I cannot believe that I actually stood up for them after that Game 4 performance, and they followed it up with that. That is the worst hockey game I have seen that team play ever. Ever.
Yeah.
Like, not even once did I feel like they were in that game. I don't have words. Like, I this year have tried to change my thinking. My thoughts going into the season are well documented. If they got bounced in the first round and the core guys don't show up, you got to make a change. And they won. So who cares? Right? Wrong. Because they just played like they did every other time they got bounced. If they lost this series and they played like they did against Ottawa, outside of the one game where they got shut out, I would have been a staunch advocate. Bring them back. You can make it work. I can see it works. Marner's changed. Matthews has changed. Are you fucking kidding me? It's still the same story. Tavares, Marner, and Matthews are invisible, and Nylander's like, "Hi, guys. I'd like it if you showed up too." Like, this is ridiculous. That was pathetic.
Yeah, that was tough.
I don't know how to describe this. Like I said, I am apathetic after watching that. That is just, I cannot believe the words I chose to say after Game 4, and that happened.
And believed.
I believed every word I said. I believed every word I said.
You believed it.
I do not believe anymore. No.
Damn. Wow.
That's tough.
Wow.
That was breaking news.
That was the most rough game of hockey I've watched in a long time.
I do think it's not fair to say that they played well against Ottawa because it's just Ottawa.
You got to beat the team in front of you, and they look like the better team, and they won. They did what they were supposed to do.
You're comparing Ottawa to the Cup-winning team.
You want to win the Cup?
Florida Panthers.
Guess who you got to beat?
Oh, man. You got to beat the man. If you want to be the man.
No, be the man, you got to beat the man.
Yeah,
you can't sit here and make excuses. They lost to Boston in 2019. They went to the final. Boo. Who cares? They lost to Montreal. They went to the final. Boo. Who cares? Like, it's the same shit every fucking year.
What do we think it is? Because they were like, the energy was very low. They came out very flat. I mean, Nylander had a breakaway that really, I think, could have helped the team get back into it in like the first period, but they got dominated in the first period. I think it was like 14-4 on shots or something along those lines. But like, was it the way they lost Game 4? I still think it's the way they lost Game 3. The way that they came out, they were buzzing, they were ready to go. They got a quick 2-0 lead. They got to 3-1, and then they completely lost basically all control of everything going on. I don't know. I don't know if it's. Do you think it's in the room? What do you think?
I don't care what it is.
Okay, it's just got to change.
I don't care what it is. Whatever it is, it's not fucking working. Figure it out. I'm not getting paid to solve your problems.
Well, they paused the parade in Toronto for now.
Yeah,
I wasn't playing the parade. was not
Stolars
playing
may come
great.
back, even though I don't think Wool was really the problem.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
I
no.
don't
Yeah, I was going
think
to say,
so.
goaltending was definitely the problem. Fuck.
There's a lot of bounces, especially in game 3.
Oh, my God, man.
What's up, Jordan? Jordan's in the chat.
Welcome.
Yeah, continue on.
But yeah, the bounces in game 3, both teams got them. Like every puck was bouncing off their own defenseman and in the net. And the goalies are like, all right, appreciate you trying to block it. What else can you do?
Like I said, just the energy level was tough.
Up until that Robertson goal, I don't think the Leafs had scored a goal off of their stick since the Tavares goal in game
wraparound.
3.
Yeah.
Yes, that is correct.
No, the tip goal. The tip goal.
Well, game 4, Morgan Riley scored, and then they went.
It was not off his stick. It went off of somebody else.
They went over 100 minutes, I think, without scoring. I think is what you're trying to say.
Kind of. So. I'm just saying that this shit is pathetic, and I'm frankly sick of fucking watching it.
Well,
you cheer for Florida next round? Should it go that way?
I mean, yeah. Why wouldn't I?
Ooh.
Why wouldn't I?
Ooh, that's spicy. You don't want a Canadian team to win the cup?
They're going to be playing Carolina. Who gives a fuck?
Okay. Well, we'll get to the great transition, actually. So the second series we wanted to talk about here. Carolina really taking control of the Washington Capitals. They are just doing the thing. The Capitals got one game. They won 3-1 game 2. And then ever since then, it's just been all Capitals. We obviously had game 4 the other night. The Canes were in control of that. The Caps scored, but every time the Capitals would score to try to get back in the game, the Canes would answer them. They ended up winning game 4, 5-2. Freddie Anderson's having a coming out party, guys. I don't know if it's more the system or the player or just a good marriage of both, but it's working. Anderson has he had his shutout streak that was a little over 106 minutes, obviously, until the Caps scored in the third period. He does lead the playoffs right now in save percentage and goals against at a .935 save percentage and a 1.41 goals against. A couple other stats real quick, too. Anderson has saved all 21 high danger scoring chances in this series so far. And then the Canes have scored. They had 8 unanswered goals at home dating back to game 5 of the first round, which was the longest stretch in franchise history. So until Washington scored in the third period of that game 4, they had 8 unanswered goals in those games at home, which is pretty impressive. You're not giving up anything at home, and all you're doing is putting the puck in the net. So is there any path for Washington to come back in this series, or is the goose cooked? We might as well just look forward to the Canes getting sharpied into the next round.
I mean, you got to make Freddie Anderson human. Right now, he's taken them to the next round. On paper, I think these teams are very equal. When it comes to just the systems they play, Carolina is just a high shot volume team, and they get guys in front of the net. Every shot seems dangerous because of that, and it's hard to keep up. But I feel like in terms of depth, I think both teams are pretty equal. Like on paper, I think the rosters are equal. So if Freddie wasn't playing the way he is now, I do think the series would show a more even through 4. But it's been all Canes, and it's thanks to Freddie, and I think he's done more than enough to get them through this next round.
Brock, is this more of like success because of the player, or is the player having success because of the system? I know you said it's really funny. You mentioned earlier, if you show me a good goalie, I'll show you a good coach. Is this who do you think? Is there anybody that deserves more credit in that situation?
No, it's definitely Brindamore's system. I love Freddie. He's a good goalie, but he is not.
Freddie is a good goalie.
He's not this good. Like, he's a good goalie. He's not this good. This is a consequence of the system. And I just think that Carolina is that good with their system to make most goalies have this level of success. Maybe not this level of success. That in part, you got to, give the guy his flowers. He's making the saves. Like, that high danger stat alone proves he's making the saves, man. He's showing up when they need him, and he's making all the other routine saves as well. Yeah. I just think that this Brindamore system, man, like, it blows my mind that Rantanen couldn't fucking make it work. And maybe it's just because he didn't want to be there. And that's why it was, I don't know. But yeah, them with Rantanen right now, they would definitely, they would definitely be my pick to win the cup. They would definitely be my pick.
100%. Hey, Graham, how do you beat this team? That's my next question. Like, how do you beat the Canes? Because like you said, they're a high shot volume team. They're playing amazing defense right now. Like, how do you beat this team?
I think the team that beats them is you need speed, or you have to wear them down deep in the playoffs. Like each round they get beaten up, and then you just exploit, the errors that they make.
I think
the deeper you go, the more injured you are, the more mistakes you create.
You have to get them on their heels. You can't let them be going downhill the whole time at you, like getting all those shot attempts, getting the puck in deep and chipping in and forechecking you into the ground. You've got to do the opposite to them. You got to forecheck back and you got to forecheck harder. I think that's the simple answer. Is there a more complicated answer? Sure. But yeah.
You can't let Freddie see the puck because everything he sees, he's stopping.
Or at least he is right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like they look pretty much destined. I don't think the Caps are probably going to win another game in this series, even at home, which is really unfortunate to say. But Ovi looks gassed. He looks really tired. He's definitely I think the age of this team a little bit is starting to catch up. I don't know if it's just because of him trying to get the goal record at the end of the season there, and maybe just exerted himself a little too much. I don't know. I'm obviously not him. But yeah, I think it's going to be tough to see the Capitals come back from this series for sure. So, well, fair enough. Well, that's going to transition us into the Western Conference. This is brought to you by CustomConcessions.net. Make sure to check them out. You need a food truck. CustomConcessions.net is definitely your place to start your search. So the first game I wanted to talk about, first series here, is the Oilers. The Oilers dethroning the Knights. Shout out to Jordan in the chat. Yeah, if anybody's in the chat has questions, feel free to throw them out. We will be sure to –
or at least try.
We'll definitely give you, especially the Toronto Maple Leafs questions. Please direct them our way. We'd love to answer those. But Edmonton has taken a 3-1 series lead over Vegas. They are playing right now. It is scoreless. They just started the second period. First of all, we got to talk about the buzzer beater real quick because I thought that was just fascinating how that all happened. I think it was. Forgive me. It was Riley Smith. He scored with 0.3 of a second left in Game 3. 0.4 of a second in Game 3. Have you seen a crazier goal than that? I mean, I feel like that was insane.
I mean, like the Perfetti goal.
Okay.
Comes to mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially given the context.
Nice.
Yes. There was one.
Yes, it is, Grandpa.
Toffoli against the Bruins came to mind in overtime.
Oh, the face-off?
Yeah, it's like they had a second and a half. They won the draw straight to Toffoli, bang, one-timer. Very similar kind of – well, not similar kind of goal, but similar time-wise.
Then we also had the real quick too. Game 2 was the overtime game. Can we talk about why Patrick Roy? It's not Patrick Roy, but Roy Nick Roy tried to literally cross check the guy in the face. Like he's trying to play the puck when it they killed the penalty off, so I guess it didn't matter in hindsight. But just the bonehead play of the week award to him.
I think he probably just kind of saw the red mist and just. Just threw his cross check. Some people defend he was trying to cross check. The guy was trying to cross check him. And it's he connected in the face. I don't know. I don't know what you want. Defending, defending the action in a way.
Yeah, just insane.
It's self defense. I'm I don't really care. One guy has teeth rearranged. I don't know. I don't know what else you expected to happen there, fella. And I do think that just because they killed the penalty, I think it still affected the outcome. You just had to kill a 5-minute major. Your penalty killers are dead.
And you lost the guy in the process. You're down a man.
Yeah.
He's got ejected from the game. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure that was a massive influence on, the end of that game. But I remember the end of this game now. Yeah, there was 2 blown calls after they killed the penalty.
Literally, yeah.
Vegas got jobbed in Game 2. Oh my God.
It was bad.
There was one interference, and I can't remember the other one.
Well, the other one was a trip where he stuck his skate in his skate.
Yes.
Where he stuck the stick in his skates.
They straight up just didn't call it. Yeah, it's wow. Yeah, Vegas should have had a power play in overtime after they killed the 5-minute major.
Yeah, 100%. And then we fast forward to Game 4. Did you guys know that Stuart Skinner is the greatest Game 4 goalie of all time? So he finally got his first win of the playoffs. So just to back up my claim here. So in Game 4s in Stuart Skinner's career, he is now 5-0. He has a .953 save percentage, and he's got a 1.32 goals against in career Game 4 starts. So greatest Game 4 goalie of all time. Now, he needs – hear me out. The Minnesota Wild need to sign him because I don't know if you remember a couple weeks ago when I gave you the stat that Minnesota was literally winless. They're like 0-6 in Game 4s where they were up 2-1 in the series. So Minnesota, if you're listening, Stuart Skinner's your guy. So you guys maybe should take that, take a look at that in the offseason. But the couple other notes I had here, Evander Kane is really coming on. I think he's really making a difference for the Oilers. Obviously, you have McDavid and Draisaitl, but Evander Kane is a point per game right now. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists in the 4 games. He's +4. Edmonton, as they've been out shooting Vegas basically this whole series. Another fun stat is Connor McDavid has 14 assists in his first 10 postseason games this year. That's 8th most all time. Oh, by the way, he's already got number 1 and number 2. So he's now officially the number 1, number 2, and number 8 in that category. So that's really fun. And then entering Game 5, all 12 forwards have scored at least 1 postseason goal for the Edmonton Oilers. So they're getting contributions from everywhere. Is it just a matter of time? Is this the year for Edmonton, Graham? What do you think? I mean, if they're getting this kind of contribution up and down the lineup, it's going to be really hard for them not to be successful.
I think to beat Edmonton, you have to win the games that are tied going into the third, because Edmonton is going to have games where they are going to blow you out and you just have to accept it and move on. I think the Kings had a chance and they were one chip out of the zone from doing it. And when that team creates as much scoring chances as they do, they're eventually going to find the net. And there's going to be at least 2 games in this series where you have no chance and you're going to have to win the rest.
Quentin Byfield's got to be the sickest man in America right now.
Oh, no. That's Joe Sakic and Chris McFarland. Watching Randon doing what he's doing.
No, that's fair. Okay.
No, they are the sickest man in America.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Brock, is there any hope at all for Vegas to even get just like to Game 6?
Oh, of course. I've been watching most of this game out of the corner of my eye. It's been chippy. It's been a lot more low event, which I think definitely favors Vegas. So yeah, they could push this to 6. Do I think they're winning 3 straight against Edmonton? No, that's not happening. But yeah, they could push this to 6. To Graham's point, like I don't necessarily wholly agree with it, but I understand what he's insinuating. Like, this game's tied with 5 minutes played in the second. It's been chippy, close. This is the kind of game Vegas has to win if they expect to win, because any game Edmonton could decide, let's go score a touchdown tonight. Fuck it.
Literally.
And that's entirely possible.
Yeah,
that's entirely possible.
And McDavid and Draisaitl, I mean, like I said, they made the difference in that overtime game, but they're getting contributions from everywhere. And then, I mean, it's going to be a nightmare playing this team if it's not just McDavid and Draisaitl that you have to worry about. I mean, Corey Perry's playing well. Evander Kane is playing well. Did you know Jake Wallman leads the postseason in plus-minus right now too? So, I mean, he's playing really well. Edmonton's scary. If they get Calvin Pickard back, I mean, the world is their oyster. So I have
a Pickard stat. I just looked at it. 1 second.
Nice. Yeah, go ahead before I transition into our last series here.
Goalies to begin the postseason, 6-0 in Oilers history. There's 3. It's Andy Moog, Grant Fuhr, Calvin Pickard.
Wow. Are those 2 Hall of Famers that you named before him, by the way?
Grant Fuhr is for sure.
I think you might have worded that slightly incorrectly. Now I think I know exactly what you meant. So we'll have to maybe listen to that back. But yes, the goalies that started their playoff careers 6-0 with the Oilers. That's what was intended, correct?
Nice.
I don't know. I just read this.
Yeah.
I read it.
Shout out to everybody in the chat, by the way.
Postseason.
Thanks for joining us.
6-0 in Oilers history.
Okay. Maybe
I
missed something then.
Maybe is it to start a postseason or their
I read it the way the article has it.
Okay.
When I listen to that back, I'm going to be very curious to see if you did slip up on a word, but we'll see.
Right,
yeah,
fair enough. Well, be that as it may, we are live.
We are live.
Nice. And we will take that into our last Western Conference series here. I don't know if you guys missed it last night, but Michael Granlund, the Finns are out. Fins up, if you will, in Texas, because you got Mikko Rantanen and Grenlund. They are doing their thing. He had a hat trick. The gig is up. Everybody knows that if you're going to shoot on Hellebuck, you shoot glove side and you shoot high, because everything is going in right now. So my first question, this is probably my biggest question. Are we learning more about the Jets in this series, or are we learning more about the Stars?
Ooh, that's a good question. I will lean. We're learning more about Dallas because I think we're watching a perennial cup contending team finally realizing everything and putting all the pieces together. Like they're finally coalescing into this perfect blob of like they could look like the Tampa Bay Lightning from 2015 to 2022, 2023 for the next 8 years. I could totally see it. I think that's what we're witnessing. Ottinger's there, Heiskanen's there. You can see all the parallels. Ottinger, Vazzy, Hedman, Miro. I'd argue the forward core is even better than what Tampa had.
Honestly.
I'd argue
the other ones maybe not, but
like it's just wild. It's just wild what we're watching. So no, I don't think this is a dig.
I think there were doubts though coming into Dallas with Rantanen.
Oh, for sure.
In Carolina,
not anymore.
Got to a hot start in Dallas,
not anymore.
But
I'm not worried anymore.
Players in NHL history to record 9+ goals and 8+ assists over a 6-game span in the playoffs.
Go. There's two of them. There's two.
Wayne Gretzky.
Oh,
Mikko Rantanen.
Yeah, literally.
Wayne who? Never heard of him. Never heard of him.
Never heard of him. No.
Never heard of him.
No.
I did hear another stat. It was from like April 28th till like their last game. It was like, I forget which goal. It must have been the first goal in their last game. It was up until that moment, like almost over 2 weeks, that Mikko Rantanen wasn't in on a goal.
Wow.
It was like since April 28th, I think it was the first or second goal of their last game where he wasn't in on it for over 2 weeks. That's wild, man.
That's insane.
That's wild. So he either had a goal or he had an assist on all of them.
Okay, so future fantasy corner, has he played himself into the #1 overall pick in your fantasy draft next year?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just making sure. I don't know, man.
We'll have some fantasy prep episodes coming into the season next year. We'll have some fun with that. I'm admittedly, while we're here and we're on fantasy, I was hoping that his weak stretch with Carolina and slow start with Dallas would earn me getting him like in the second and third round next year, because that's not happening anymore. That's not happening anymore. He's still going first round. We'll say that he's still going first round.
Yeah, those aspirations are packing.
With they're gone. They're gone.
The hat trick that Granlund had, that was the 8th hat trick of the season for Dallas. They had 5 leading into the playoffs. Obviously, they've had 3 in the playoffs. Ottinger's been playing really good. He made 31 saves. Heiskanen did return. He did pick up an assist along the way. And the funny thing was Dallas got outshot every period in this game, like in game 4. And that was probably the best road game the Jets have played. That's the best road game they've played in the playoffs by far. And I'll just give you some
great.
Yeah,
100%. He is winning the goalie duel. Hands down.
Yes.
Hellebuyck's not playing bad.
It's not,
Ottinger is, I got you guys.
Yeah. Nice. I got you guys. Yeah. And then Jets, just to give you some stats on them, they are still winless on the road in this postseason. They're 0-5. They've currently on a 9-game road losing streak dating back all the way to 2023, which is really crazy if you think about it, because obviously they won the President's Trophy this year. They had the best road record in the league. They were 26-15 this year on the road and led the NHL in road wins. So Hellebuyck on the road has just been just atrocious. There's really no other word for it. He's at a 5.84 goals against average and a .793 save percentage. Also, another fun stat, he's allowed 5 or more goals more times in the playoffs than he did in the entire regular season. Just to give you some context, 3 times out of the 63 games he played in the regular season, he allowed 5 goals or more, and he's allowed 4. He's had 4 games where he's allowed 5 or more in 11 games in the playoffs. So just a tough look. Also, the special teams, Brock, you're really big on this. You always tell us special teams are what makes the difference in these series, especially when teams are close like this. So the Jets are 1 of 16 on the power play in this series. They led the league at almost 30% this year. So that's not clicking. And it just seems like a mayday for the Jets. I just don't know. They might win game 5 at home. Game 5 at home, but I don't see how it's going to matter. I mean, they have to win. Even if they win game 5, they got to go back on the road. And then what do you do? Do you dare start Comrie in game 6 if you get that far?
You are pot committed.
Okay.
I don't think there's a series this round of the playoffs where a team is down 3-1 that will win the series.
Okay.
That's 100%.
That's a hot take. I like it.
That's not that hot. That's not
I know.
that hot.
I know. I've just seen so many memes and stuff on the internet the last couple of days of like, yeah, these 3 teams and these 3 teams and yada yada yada.
Like the only one that I would bet has a remote chance is Vegas, and I still don't think that they're going to do it.
Yeah. It'd be. I mean, if it would take injuries, I think at this point for any of those teams to really like have a realistic chance at coming back.
I think every team is capable of doing it just because of how even I felt like these matchups were. So the fact that they're already 3-1 one way means that they could easily go 3-1 the other way.
Right.
But I just don't think it's likely.
Yeah, I just think the momentum is so far, especially in this series. It just feels like the momentum is just so far in Dallas's corner that I don't know if the Jets are even going to win Game 5.
Paul Maurice has said, and he said it a lot, that he does not believe in game-to-game momentum. He believes in series momentum. Like he's just, I don't care what the score is. It's all downhill. Like what was that clip from last year? Pound their D. Like
pound their D. So when they get to Game 7, they got nothing left.
That's like, and the more I watch the Panthers play, it's like, no, man, like he's got the right of it. They didn't give a fuck. They were down 2-0. No. They didn't give a fuck. Like,
They're still going to just
I'm
pound
back.
the D, baby.
I'm back. Yeah, I'm backtracking here. I'm very sad.
Nice. All right. Well, last thing here before we get into the really fun part of this episode. So a little segment here is called Age Me Well. So I had 2 questions for you guys. So if we obviously it's looking like we're going to get the Oilers and Stars in the Western Conference Finals. What are you looking forward to most in that series? Because I think we might get a series better than what we had with Dallas and Colorado in the first round with those 2 teams. Does Calvin Pickard come back? That's another question. Like, does he take over from Stuart Skinner if it really is the case? Like,
Skinner's got to earn it.
I just feel like there's so many storylines.
He's played better since he's been back, so I don't know if you just take it from him. I mean, the message was already sent to him, so you're not just going to send him the same message again.
Yeah, but that wasn't the question. Or, well, I guess part of it was. But the question was, what are you looking forward to most? And if I'm being honest, I want to watch Rantanen just absolutely shit on the Oilers. If I'm being
I think the over is going to hit a lot in that series.
I want Rantanen to win the Conn Smythe just to watch. I don't know any Avalanche fans, and I wish I did because I'd be up in their kitchen like it's nobody's business right now with this Rantanen stuff. For the storybook, like the cinema of the whole thing, give me Rantanen absolutely blowing up the Oilers. That's what I want.
I don't know. I think Edmonton can really create chances. I don't trust Dallas's D. I like their depth up front.
They beat Colorado without Hastings.
And they have a 6'7" defenseman. Was it Bushnell, right? Is that
Liam Bichelle?
Bichelle, yeah. And by the way, you got a lot of heat from Dallas fans on saying that Winnipeg has the physicality edge. And somebody
I want on the record, I didn't really agree with it.
Yeah, somebody was like, well, this guy's never seen Bushnell play, apparently.
Oh, so. I got him in my Bangers League. I've seen him. Don't you worry. I'm talking about from a team perspective. So I respect the players that do it.
We now see why you don't have social medias, because all these people call you out and you just can't answer them because you're never there. So that's what's really funny to me. But yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting, fascinating series. And then my other question for you guys is obviously if the Canes, take care of business and move on. Do you think they have a chance to get through the winner of Toronto and Florida and then get to the Stanley Cup final? Because the way I see like this, the skill levels between those 2 teams, even Toronto or Florida, I feel like is definitely over Carolina. But obviously the team schematic, I feel like Florida is going to out physical them, and obviously Toronto can outskill them if they get there. But realistically, do you think Carolina stands a chance to get to the finals if they do get to the Eastern Conference Finals?
Yeah.
Okay, why?
Carolina,
I feel like they're in a no-win situation.
No, they're a metrics team. They make sure that on paper and on the stat sheet, they have the upper hand. It doesn't always translate to the scoreboard, but if they're generating chances on paper, every shot's got a chance to go in. Like I said before, the shots from the point, it's not just like where the goalies can see it. Like every shot from the point, if it gets through, it goes in. They got a good power play. They got a good penalty kill. They're not bad at anything in hockey. I think they're top 10. I don't think they're top 5 in much, but they're top 10 in almost everything.
Yeah.
And so they are just a very, very good hockey team. They can be beat, but you have to beat. They don't lose often, but
they don't beat
them.
themselves. Yeah, they're like
Right.
the Patriots, and like when they had their dynasty, they just don't beat themselves. Like you said, I think you said that very well. You have to beat them. They're not going to give it to you.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I mean, if Freddie Anderson keeps playing this way, I mean, they could. I guess they could shut down, but I just think Florida's a bad matchup for them, and I think that's probably the way it's looking right
I
now.
think Florida's a bad matchup.
I was going to say, who the fuck has
Yeah.
a good matchup against Florida? Shut up.
Edmonton, I don't know, maybe. I don't. We'll see. We'll see. But fair enough. Well, we'll see how those age. Hopefully, they turn out all right. But it's time to get to the best segment of this show that we offer. It's time to put some people in the bin. This in the bin is brought to you by Warlord Beard Oil. Make sure to check out warlordbeardoil.com. Use the promo code OldSports for 15% off beard oils, washes, soaps, and more. By the way, if you get $75 worth of merchandise, you get free shipping. So make sure to check out that. I think Brock is. Did you check out their baby oil section or no? I mean, you're not wearing a shirt.
Those shoulders are a little shiny.
Allegedly.
Okay. You look like you got lathered up for this show, which we appreciate. So, Graham, you want to take it away? Who you want to put in the bin this week?
Well, it's come out that the Ottawa Senators have been stripped of their 2026 first-round pick.
Oh,
This is a wild.
say it ain't so.
Well, this dates back to their 2021 trade with Dadonov to the Golden Knights.
Uh-huh.
And what they failed to tell Vegas in the deal was that Dadonov had a 10-team no-trade list. So when Vegas went to Anaheim to trade Dadonov to them, they were not aware of the no-trade list. So therefore, the trade was declined by the league.
Next.
And then Ottawa was then penalized a first-round pick. And because they choose to keep their 21st overall pick this season, their next year, 2026 pick has been taken away. So this is the full penalty. Now, the punishment can be reduced, but I don't think it will. Bettman's the only one that can really reduce it, and he was the one that said it. So
Gotta love that, teams are losing first round picks in this league, when they fuck up communicating a no trade list. But when a sexual assault case is actively covered up, just pay a couple million. It's fine. It's fine. What a fucking
also
joke.
the other like interesting part of that story too, Graham, I was reading is that like the general manager or the president that like did the deal with them was literally like let go like immediately after that had happened or that it came out. So like literally
they're under new ownership.
Yeah, like the new guy that came in,
and they're paying for it. Yeah,
exactly. Which I thought was I thought that was just a fascinating angle, like to look at it that
Fucking
way too.
Mickey Mouse.
So
Absolute Mickey Mouse.
definitely thought that was interesting.
Unbelievable.
Brock, who do you what Mickey Mouse organization do you want to put in the bin this week?
I don't know if this guy's necessarily Mickey Mouse, but I don't like the organization for obvious reasons, as you'll understand in a moment. Mr. Douglas Sifu, am I pronouncing that right? Sifu? It looks like
pretend.
I'm not the guy to ask that question.
Yeah.
That's correct. That's correct. The minority,
Yes, it's not.
the minority owner of the Florida Panthers has been suspended indefinitely by the NHL for inappropriate social media posts. And in case you didn't read them or see them, I believe they pertain to Canada becoming the 51st state, which, man, if you're an owner in anything in a public atmosphere, especially
An international league.
Yeah, like an international league that is, everyone's gonna see this. Like, I don't know what the fuck you were thinking, dude. Like, you're an idiot. You're in the bin. You're in the bin. Come on, man.
Yeah, just
do better. Do better. That's awful.
Definitely showing his ass. That's for
sure. That's a layup, and you quite literally started like trotting for the layup at half court. Like, that's terrible. Terrible.
Yeah, definitely not a good look. We definitely don't condone. Disavow everything to do with Douglas. We'll see.
And the Panthers, am I right? Fuck them. They're terrible.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Well, I've got two bins then. The first bin, which is kind of suspect, so hear me out. Gavin McKenna's point streak is in the bin because it's finally over. His point streak ended at 54 games. Get this though, in those 54 games, he compiled 129 points, tallying 41 goals and 88 assists along the way. So shout out Gavin McKenna. He's obviously the sweepstakes that all 24 teams.
He is still not draft eligible. Those numbers are what they are, and he is still not draft eligible.
Yeah. Shout out to the 8 teams that can win the cup next year, and good luck to the 24 teams that will be tanking, according to Big Canada Daddy. So that will be your prize if you can, if only the price is right. And then I sent you guys this earlier in the week. social media turned this into a pinata, but I have to mention it. I'd be very remorse if I didn't. The Winnipeg Jets social media team is going in the bin.
God!
This
was
ad-lib
so
song,
bad.
ad-lib version of basically expressing their I don't know, expressing their want to win a Stanley Cup. They did a little remix of a song they created. And it was just cringe. It was very cringe.
Rough watch.
It was incredibly cringe. I thought it was cool, some of the way they shot it, like with the locker room and everything. But yeah, just if you haven't seen the video yet, please go check it out.
I'd rather watch
sure
the Leafs play that game.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I was gonna say it was tough. It was definitely not met with a lot of good things to say about it in the community. So shout out to the social media team for the Winnipeg Jets. I don't think they've won a game since that music came out, since that video came out.
Nor should they have.
Coincidence?
Definitely. Yeah, I was gonna say definitely goes hand in hand. The editing department will probably put that video in here, when we release these on Reels. But yeah, shout out to the Jets social media team. You're enjoying your time in the bin with Douglas. So, well, let's get positive. We're going to be handing out the C. Excuse me. This is brought to you by SeatGeek. Make sure to download the SeatGeek app. Use promo code Old City Sports Network for $20 off your first purchase, whether it's an NHL game, MLB game, NBA playoffs are going on. Feel free to get $20 off, courtesy of your friends here between the benches. And we're going to start with Brock. Who are you giving your C to this week?
I'm going to give mine to Seth Jarvis. With that third period goal he scored against the Capitals just the other night, he ties the Carolina Hurricanes Whalers record for most playoff points by a 23 or younger old player, tying Aho at 35 points. So Seth Jarvis, ridiculously underrated. We'll throw another fantasy segment on that name next year. Don't sleep on him. You will get him late. Seth Jarvis, you get to see tonight.
Nice. I was looking up his birthday. He was born February 1st of 2022. So he
February 1st of 2022?
Yeah.
He's got so many years left.
Try again.
Or, sorry, of 2000. Sorry, 2002. Sorry. Yeah. Of 2002.
You literally looked straight ahead. Like, what did I say wrong?
Of 2002. Yeah, February 1st of 2002.
Too many twos.
Yeah,
too many twos. A lot of twos. Too many.
We've been on here for an hour.
Live episodes, gentlemen.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, welcome in. All right, yeah, that's a good C. The Carolina Hurricanes are looking like really prime, and Seth Jarvis is a big reason why. So, Graham, who are you giving your C to?
We got two big winners here. We got Brittany Crawford and Kaniak Chewy. They were our merch winners. They've been contacted and waiting on orders. So also shout out to Crawford for the footage from game 2 of the Winnipeg Dallas game. Check those out on our socials if you haven't already. Just a great playoff atmosphere.
Look wild. Yeah, wild.
Yeah, she can probably make a claim to be like the good luck charm for Winnipeg because that's the only game
yeah,
they've done. Yeah. So
hey,
yeah.
Get her some tickets.
They should have consulted her before they made that damn music video. Was what they should have done.
Nice.
They should have hit up our girl, Crawford, and that way she could have maybe stopped that travesty that occurred.
Yeah.
Oh man,
that was.
Yeah. But no, shout out to them. Good call, Graham. If you don't follow us on Instagram, make sure you do. We'll do another merch giveaway when we hit 1,000 followers. We're almost to 600 on Instagram, which is great. We are on the TikTok as well, so feel free to check us out there too. Good see. Yeah, the Tic Tac. Good see. Well, I'll finish this off here with 2 then. So the first one was Dick Vitale. Unfortunately, my Canadian friends I don't think know who Dick Vitale is. So maybe we'll get him cultured maybe one of these days. But he was officially announced cancer-free. So hopefully he'll be back calling college basketball games. I think he had throat cancer, and I think he had one other cancer that I'm not very sure of. I'd have to do some homework. But shout out to Dick Vitale. Glad to see he's doing well. And then finish hat tricks. So with Mikko Rantanen's 2 hat tricks, and then obviously Granlund's hat tricks last night for the Stars became the 4th franchise in NHL history with multiple playoff years with 3 or more hat tricks. So get this. Edmonton is one of the other franchises. They had 6 hat tricks in 1983 and 1985. Probably shout out to Gretzky if I had to guess.
I'd be mystified.
Yeah,
literally. The Islanders are another franchise. They had 3 in 1981, and then they had 4 in 1983. And then you've had rounding out the club here was the Boston Bruins. They had 3 in 1970 and in 1972. So
it hasn't been done since 1985.
I was going to say, this is
Yes.
the first time someone's done it this
40
century.
years.
40 years. It's been
First
40
time this
years.
century. Nice.
Yes, that is correct.
Nice.
So shout out to the Finns. Fins up in Dallas. I know that's
Fins up. Yeah.
Fins up. So
Yeah.
shout out to them. And then I told you I was going to start. I know. Oh, by the way, that was brought to you by SeatGeek. Make sure you check out our friends at SeatGeek. Use that promo code Old City Sports for $20 off. Old City Sports Network is the promo code. $20 off your first purchase, courtesy of SeatGeek. And then I got to give you one for the road. So it's time for my hot spicy take, which I got shit on for, by the way, on different Reddit pages.
I have a feeling you're about to get
I'm
shit
sure
on
you
that.
deserve it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
I
have a
actually did
feeling-
not look. I did not look.
I
So-
read 2 words, so I have an
Nice.
idea.
So the question up for debate here, as I was watching the Dallas Jets series last night, do you think the Jets should consider trading Connor Hellebuck
there it is.
when the opportunity comes about? Now, he does have a no trade. I did look at it a little bit more in depth. I think he has a no trade all the way to 2027, which then it becomes a 10-team list after that. So obviously he can kind of control his destiny. He is making $8.5 million per year. He's signed through 2031 when he becomes a free agent UFA that year. And he will turn 32 in like 5 days. May 19th is his birthday. So I think I don't know. I feel like it maybe a change of scenery would be a good thing for him. The first team that came to mind, just to give you an idea, if we really were going to propose this idea, was the Red Wings. That was my first thought. That he's a hometown guy. He's from Michigan. Yzerman has already said that if we just had a goalie that can make saves, this team would be where everybody wants us to be. The only thing that made sense to me is you have to go Cider for Hellebuck straight up, which they both make the same amount of money. They're both UFAs at the exact same time.
This is
I don't think I know everybody like shit on me. It's like, no, you can't do this. No, we're not against. They literally banned me off Reddit. They took my post off Detroit Reddit when I put that because they were like, oh, this is just clickbait. I'm like, this. I literally titled it too. Hey, crazy trade idea. Just tell me how insane this is.
They told you. They told you exactly how insane
the
it
first
is.
comment was like, hey, buddy, lay off the pipe. That was literally the first comment.
I mean,
So-
if this was an odd podcast, Brock and I would not indulge in this at all. We would just say no. And that would be the end of it.
I mean, and when you
But
talked
because
about-
we have listeners here,
Yeah, I was gonna say let's kind of construct this here. I have one question. Answer this question.
sure.
Why would you trade Connor Hellebuck if you're the Winnipeg Jets?
I'm
Why?
gonna say from the Jets' perspective, I feel like his value. I feel like his value is never going to be any higher. He's
So you're
going to
moving.
probably win.
So you're moving him for the sake of moving him.
That is he's not really producing like the way you'd
Just
want
won
him to either.
back-to-back Vezinas.
He's 0-6 in the playoffs, like on the road.
So trade him for no reason.
Yes, trade him. Well, there's no. This is not a no reason thing. You have plenty of reason.
You haven't given me one.
I literally told you not even 20 minutes ago. He's 0-5
So
on the road.
you're
and his
taking
save
the 6
percentage is
games.
79%.
You're taking the
On the
6
road.
games on the road in the playoffs as opposed to
and ignoring
you
the
the last
back-to-back Vezinas.
100 games that he's played. Yeah.
right. But when they get to the playoffs,
No, there's no but.
he's not.
There's no but.
'cause there is a
There's no
but.
but.
When we get to the playoffs, he's not the same goalie.
Okay, so
You have-
who?
You have literally like maybe 10 games of evidence to support that claim in total.
I mean, he didn't play well in the first round either. Look, no show.
I
Thank
will
you, Dan.
say,
Thank you, Dan. Look, Dan is with me. No show in the playoffs. Like
For the
his
last
trade value
2
is
years,
never
that's
gonna be
it.
higher.
That's it. Go look
He
at every
wasn't-
other run.
I mean, that's not fair because if Hellebuck's not on the team, whoever their goalie isn't going to get a chance to lose in the playoffs.
That's not true either. They led the league in play and power play percentage. They have Mark.
Oh no! I
Scheifele,
thought we were
Gabe
ignoring.
Vilardi,
I thought we were
Kyle Connor.
ignoring the regular
We're
season.
only focusing on
I
those
thought we
six.
were just focusing on the playoffs, Dalton.
Okay, but look who showed up for them in the playoffs. So what do you mean? They've
What do you
scored
mean,
goals.
what do I
They've
mean?
Scored goals in the playoffs. That's not been the issue.
No, they haven't.
The
Yes, they
issue
have.
for-
Yes,
they have. Well,
Oh, you want to go look at those games
They're not
in
the
St.
overs.
Louis? You want to go look at those games in St. Louis? Oh yeah. They scored a ton. Everyone
their
forgets
goalie
they
didn't
only
give
put
him a
up like
chance
3
either.
goals in those 3 games.
The
They put
only
up 3
thing
goals in
I'll
those games.
say is if you're trading Hellebuck, you have to have a slam dunk win coming back.
Which you
Winnipeg
won't.
play.
You won't.
yeah.
I
'cause
promise
that was,
you won't.
That was another comment one of the guys made was like goalies don't really get a lot in trades. There's not a lot of trade value to goalies. But I figured this is like arguably one of the best, if not the best goalie in the league right now. So I didn't know, like, I was just thinking outside the box, maybe just trying to like see what we could do spitball. The way you were talking about earlier with Rick Tocchet, I was like, hey, why don't the Flyers see what they could do? I mean, if I was the Flyers GM, I'd call Winnipeg. And just from a Winnipeg perspective, you had to trade him to the East, too. There's no way you trade him in the West. There's no way.
Doesn't matter these days, Carolina.
But I just think it'd be an interesting perspective. Obviously, it can't happen because there's a no trade clause until 2027, and by then this conversation is going to be a moot point. But if we were to remove that, if I were GMing the Winnipeg Jets, I would start taking phone calls.
If the Winnipeg Jets start to retool, which they shouldn't, and Hellebuck doesn't want to be a part of it again, which he shouldn't, then you can consider a trade. I don't see any part of those happening.
There is zero logic.
Recent future.
No, I'm right with you, Dan. Right with you, fella. Right with you.
Thanks, Dan. We appreciate you being here.
Right with you, buddy. Go, you're gonna want to listen to this back. I got to take the
Yeah, I was gonna say you missed about the 27-minute mark. Dan is where you want to be.
What's it like to have your best players actually show up? Like Nathan McKinnon has more points than any of the Leafs score for. He played
what? Do you know what's
But
really
who's
crazy?
in the second round?
Yeah. Well, also crazy.
I just want them
too.
to show up. I just want
Austin Matthews has played 10 second-round games in his career, and he has never scored in any of them. He's got 0 goals in 10 career second-round games. So still hasn't scored.
Him.
Yeah.
Matthews for Hellebuck.
Oh, now Dak
Matthews for Hellebuck.
Yeah,
nice.
Matthews for Mo Sider. Straight up. Matthews for Mo Sider.
I mean, there it is. A follow-up question to that, too. Has Jake Ottinger leapfrogged Hellebuck as being the starting goaltender for the United States in the Olympics next year?
No, but that is a much more reasonable question to ask.
Yeah, I think that's
no.
just so short-term that you go with the hot goalie, but I think it's Hellebuck's crease to lose to start.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Fair
a simple
enough.
answer.
Jets next out. Yeah, no, for sure, Dan. No, the Jets are in trouble. The Jets have been in trouble because Mikko Rantanen is the most dangerous man on earth right now with a hockey stick. So,
I mean, the Jets have stopped almost all but one player each game. It's just that one player they don't stop scores 3.
Yeah, no, that's
and he's from
true.
Finland.
Yeah. So, are the Jets finished? 2 ends.
Nice, and well done. I should make a graphic for that. That'd be nice. The Jets finished. Nice. Okay. Let's start reaching out to you for headlines when we start doing banners on the show, by the way. So
I'm busy guy, Dalton.
Yeah, well,
banner for you.
Yeah, he's got a family. Anyway, well, we appreciate everybody tuning in. Thanks, Dan, for joining in the chat. We always do appreciate it. From myself, Dak, my Canadian colleagues, Graham, Big Canada Daddy, we are the Between the Benches podcast. Make sure to check us out next week. Make sure to check us out on social media as well, the Instagram, the TikTok, everything in between. And we are brought to you by Old City Sportsnet, and we will see you then.